right tackle, it will be either Jim DeCaria moving over from the left tackle or Jeff Lindner, who played a great game last week. Jeff Lindner, the junior. That split end will be Rick Petrelli and Paul Portugala. They will alternate. At quarterback, once again, Chris Ketterer. The fullback, a healthy Bill Chapman. And at the other running back position, Kevin Jones. And finally, John DeLuca will be starting at one back. And as Jeff has already mentioned in the pregame, Joe Roth is also available, and he will be playing on defense, and he will probably play a great deal on offense. And that's the starting lineups, and we're just about ready for the toss of the coin. Jeff?
We've had the toss of the coin already, Phil. Wolverines have won the toss. They decided to go first on defense, as they have done all season. We'll be back in just a minute. That's tonight's Wolverine pregame show, and we'll have that opening kickoff from Mo Rubenstein Stadium between the Wolverines and the Bulldogs right after this. Phil Weimer, Classic Gold 92. Wolverines winning the toss, Phil. They choose to kick off first, and they will defend the north goal. Wolverines kicking from left to right. They, by the way, are the home team this evening, so therefore in their blue uniform. Sean Reese teeing it up on the 40 to kick it off back deep to receive for the Bulldogs, Sanders, and also Dave Guire.
Jeff, we might add that this is game number 12 in a row that the Wolverines have opted to kick off. They do not go on offense to start the ball game by choice.
Reese sets him down, gets a signal from the officials, and we're underway. Semifinal action. A wobbly kick gets past one of the intended receivers. Guire eventually picks it up on the 5. He's up across the 10. Big hole. He's at the 20, the 25, the 30, still on his feet and brought down by the Wolverines defensively. Portugallo making the stop on the 34-yard line. So a break in the defensive front for the Wolverines, and the Bulldogs are in good field position to start off offensively as they have it placed on their own 35-yard line. First down and 10, and we notice the quarterback coming in is the 6'2", 170-pound senior Doug Klisch in place of the 6', 175-pound senior Bruce Miller, who was listed to start. We'll see a lot of full house backfield this evening from the Bulldogs, and that is what they line up with Conte, Holmes, and Saunders in the backfield. Saunders gets the call, and he squeezes his way through, picks up about 7 on the play, getting it across the Bulldog 40 to the 43-yard line as Jay Patrick makes the stop defensively for the Wolverines. And we noticed that Kevin Jones limping a little bit after that play also.
Jeff, they started out in that quick trap play, and it got them about 7 or 8 yards, as you said. The Wolverines are going to have to adjust to that right away. I'm surprised to see Doug Klisch in the starting lineup. That means 2 of their regular starting backfield players are not in there.
Second down, we'll call it 2 to go from the 43 of the Bulldogs. Here comes the counter. Carrying the football is the 5'7", a rather 6', 185-pound senior Conti, and Whistler makes the stop. Conti picks up enough for a Bulldog first down, picking up 3 on the carry, getting it across, just across the 45-yard line, so that'll be a 1st and 10.
Now, Jeff, although they line up in a power I oftentimes in their formation, a lot of the motion in the backfield is reminiscent of a wishbone attack. They have a lot of faking and deception in the backfield, and a lot of blocking up front. They even line up in 4-point stance on the offensive line.
1st and 10 from their 45. Sanders again finds running room. He'll pick up about 5 on the play, getting it out to the midfield stripe, possibly just even in Wolverine territory, just across the 50. Joe Roth making the stop for Ellwood City. So call it a gain of 5. That'll make it 2nd and 5 from the Wolverine 49.5-yard line.
And the Wolverines really kind of blew a break in the first kickoff. The kick was mishandled about the 5-yard line, but they blew the coverage and allowed good position for the Bulldogs.
Again out of the full house, 2 blockers leading the way. Sanders looking for room. Nick Perry comes up and makes the stop, but not before Sanders drags him for a pickup of a couple of yards, moving it into Wolverine territory a little deeper, close to the Wolverine 45, but shy at about the 46. So that'll bring up a 3rd down, and will be about a yard to go for another Bulldog first. And Phil, they take it right at you.
Yes, their attack and their scheme of things is very reminiscent of Beaver Bobcats in the way that they'll come at you and block you and try to beat you with their blocking up front.
Key for the Wolverines is to shut down the running game of the Bulldogs. They have an explosive offense. First down is good for the second effort for the Bulldogs as Conte carried it straight ahead. Roth made the stop. Kevin Jones also helping out in there, but not enough before they get that first down. So they rest the football now on the Wolverine 42-yard line. Sticks will move, and we have 9:24 remaining in the first quarter of play. No score in the ball game. Bulldogs, though, moving it under the leadership of senior quarterback Doug Klisch.
And quite honestly, Jeff, the only time all year that one team, and I think you can remember this, one team has driven a sustained drive against the Wolverines, and that was the Quaker Valley Ball Club. One game this year was the only time that the drive was successful against them for a touchdown. The Wolverines have been traditionally pretty tough, but they've been giving up the big yardage on first down on these first early drives here.
Conti in motion to the near side. Here comes the pitch. Flag fly. Will have illegal motion. Sanders is caught in the backfield, and he will suffer a loss of about a yard. But we also have the flag fly. Scotty Timmerman shooting him from that defensive end position. Also Nick Perry coming up from the corner to help make the stop in the play.
As you described it, Jeff, Conti coming in motion. He came from right to left and turned upfield just before the snap call. And the Wolverines might decline this. It looks like, though, they're going to take it because Sanders was hit for about a 2-yard loss, but they're going to take it and make it first down and 15. What I think Coach Rankin would like to do is probably put the Bulldogs in a situation where they have to go to the air. That's their weakest point.
First and 15. From the Wolverine 48-yard line. Phil, you look at the matchups defensively on the trenches up front. On the offensive side for the Bulldogs, they match up almost evenly height and size-wise against the Wolverines' defensive front.
Exactly.
We'll talk about that a little bit more as the game continues. Again, Conti motion to the near side. Counter play, and Dwyer has nowhere to go. He gets back, picks up about a yard they will give him. Okay, so he gets to about the Wolverine 46-yard line. Billy Peretta shot in and read that, Phil. They tried to run a trap off that to the near side here, and Peretta fought it off and was able to make the stop. Pick up a 1 that'll make it 2nd and 14 from the Wolverine 46.
And as we said on the way down here, Coach Rankin had noticed some tendencies up front, and it was Bill Peretta who was one of the guys who picked up on those tendencies right away in the coaching meetings, and apparently he diagnosed that one correctly.
5'10", 185-pound senior Joe Patterson over the football. Under center, straight drop back for Klisch. Looks to pass, throws, picked off by Nicky Perry on the Wolverine 38-yard line. Coming to the near side of the field, he's at the 40, still on his feet and run out of bounds. Nick Perry did it last week, Phil. We also have a face mask penalty over here on the sidelines, I do believe. And from where they stand, I believe there was a flag also. Perry has run out of bounds at the Wolverine 42-yard line by Charlie Buddy Pugh. The Wolverines take over first down and 10, and we see no face mask penalty. Okay.
Yeah, I thought that he pulled it out and threw it down because I saw Nick being brought down all of a sudden, and it looked as though his face mask had been grabbed, and I saw the referee reach.
So Nick Perry, who did it last week to ignite that second half drive for the Wolverines to win that ball game against East Allegheny, does it here early in the ball game for the Wolverines. Picking off that pass, Kevin Jones finds some running room, getting across the Wolverine 45 to the 46. That play a little tough for Kevin to run last week as they had it pretty well covered defensively. East Allegheny did. James Knopf, the left defensive tackle, makes the stop this time for the Bulldogs from Beth-Center.
Well, Jeff, I'll tell you, I wanted to say that because it seems as though the last 7 or 8 ball games in a row, the Wolverines have started with that same play with Kevin Jones going from right to left up off tackle. Here we go, 2nd down.
Johnny DeLuca motion to the near side, straight ahead.
And up the middle.
The Wolverines go. Billy Chapman fighting his way for a pickup of about a yard. So that'll bring up 3rd down. We'll call it a long 7 to go for the Wolverines from their own 48. Coming up with a stop was Frankie Magda, one of the cornerbacks coming up to make the stop for the Bulldogs.
Okay, we might add, too, Jeff, that there's a large contingency here from Ellwood City, and I know there's a lot back there listening, too. It doesn't sound like it because we are in an enclosed booth here, but there's a lot of people here, and they're cheering wildly for the Wolverines, especially on that interception.
3rd and about 4, Kevin Jones pucks it into the Beth-Center territory across the 50, down across the 45 of the Bulldogs, and inside the 45 to the 44, Bruce Miller, the safety, making the stop on the play, and that's what the Wolverines needed to get that first down. Quick opening trap for Kevin up front.
Yeah, Kevin was kind of stumbling as he went up through there, but it looked as though it was wide open. Maybe he was kind of grabbing the handle on the ball. I couldn't see what he was grabbing for, but it looked like he hit the opening and got into the secondary quickly.
About a 9-yard pickup for Jones. DeLuca motion to the near side. Here comes the option. Ketterer Pitches back to DeLuca. He has a sideline to go with. He's at the 30, the 25, still on his feet. 10, 5, touchdown, Johnny DeLuca. And Chris Ketterer held on to the play. You took the words right out of my mouth, Phil. Ketterer held on until the last second that he had to. Dumped it off to DeLuca. The cover man did not come up to quick enough to cover DeLuca. He took the pitch and took it in for the touchdown for the Ellwood City Wolverines.
And you can't hear it, Jeff, but these fans in front of us are going absolutely wild. The Ellwood City Wolverines on a fantastic option play. Chris Ketterer kept the ball. They faked that trap inside. They had the whole defensive secondary jumping inside to go after Jones. And Chris Ketterer took it down the line. There was one man out there. He committed himself. A 42-yard run by John DeLuca. He had the sideline. He took it all the way for a touchdown. 42-yard run by Johnny DeLuca.
Kick is up, and it is good. 6:26 remaining in the first quarter of play. It's Ellwood City 7. Beth-Center nothing. We'll be back right after this message. The Wolverines go on top. A 42-yard run. Took it in for the touchdown by, off the option, Johnny DeLuca coming in to score. Jeff, 42 yards out.
Yeah, 6:22 left in the first quarter, and the Wolverines have hit the board first, and that's what you want to do in a playoff game, is to try to get the momentum going your way very, very early, especially when you know there's a lot of substitutes, at least 2 key substitutes in there for Beth-Center. We're ready.
Squires, Sanderson back to receive. Sean Reese sends it long, but it is low. Taken on the 15 by Sanders, has a wall to the near side, cuts back inside, and he's still on his feet and fighting for yardage as he gets it up across the 30 to the 31, but he is buried. Good defensive pursuit by the Wolverines. Portugallo again with the stop. He made the first tackle of the ball game, also on the kickoff.
Jeff, I was trying to ask you during the commercial time out there. We're looking down through the lineups here for Beth-Center. I was looking for the one halfback. I thought you said the name was Duncan or Dunleavy. I couldn't read the numbers. They do have difficult numbers to read. The Beth-Center team is in white uniforms and old helmets.
They have a Guire in there.
Okay, thank you.
Running backs now are Conti, Guire, and Sanders. Sanders takes the carry, tries to put the pitch to the far side of the field. Dragged out from behind by the Wolverines after a pickup of 5 to the 35. Nicky Perry pulls him down from behind. So that'll make it 2nd and 5 now. 5:53 remaining in the first quarter of play. Ellwood leading at 7-0. If you just joined us, the Wolverines. Chris Ketterer pitched it back to John DeLuca, and that carried for about 42 yards. 44 yards, check that, for the touchdown. Beth-Center now with the football. Straight ahead to their fullback, Conti. He bolts ahead for the first down, getting it across the 40 to the 41-yard line of the Bulldogs. Joe Ross made the stop for the Wolverines.
I'll tell you what, it looks as though they've gone out of their regular set and their regular formation, though, because from that particular play, we found the Bulldogs with a split man. They had a split end out to the right, and they had a deep I set. Their first set of downs, in fact, their first 7 or 8 plays as they ran downfield, they were in a very tight formation, sometimes a wishbone and sometimes in a power I with 2 tight ends in every play. So already in the second set of downs, the Wolverines have forced the Bulldogs out of their regular formation to make them not so conservative. The last time they did that, they forced them into a passing circumstance, and Nick Perry was able to intercept for the Wolverines.
1st and 10 for the Bulldogs from their 41. Again, Sanders with the call. Hit at the line of scrimmage. Is able to spin off that, off right tackle, and get to the 42-yard line. So they'll give him a pickup of a long 2. That'll make it 2nd and a short 8. Jerry Ritzer, one of the inside linebackers for Ellwood City, making the stop.
Jeff, Sanders is not a big back. Now, we know this kid has over 3,000 yards rushing in his career down at Beth-Center. He's not a big back. He's about 5'10", 170 pounds, but he must take a lot of abuse in there and be equal to it. They're in a wishbone again.
Long count by the quarterback, Klisch. Counter to the near side. Guire looking for room. Stringing it out well is Ketterer. He makes the stop. Nick Perry's in the area also. Scott Timmerman in the area. There'll be a pickup of just a couple, so that'll make it 3rd down. We'll call it 5 to go.
And once again, they went with a lot of action in the backfield. Fake to one man, fake to a second man, and finally giving it to a third man. They kind of had a crisscross crossbuck action in the backfield, and then they gave it to the third back who tried to get around the outside. That was because inside, Sean Reese and Kevin Jones had clogged things up.
We're saying 3rd down and 5. It is a long 5, by the way, almost 6, resting on the 44.5-yard line of the Bulldogs. The senior, Doug Klisch, sets him down 6'2", 170 pounds. Backs out of the full house formation. Straight ahead to Conti. He almost fumbled the football, Phil. Was able to tuck it back in, and the Wolverines stop it up, and they'll be forced to punt it away. Gibbons made the stop. Also, Ritzert and Peretta in on to help make the tackle for the Wolverines. So it'll be 4th down and about 5 from the Bulldog 46-yard line. 4:12 remaining in the first quarter of play. Ellwood leading at 7-0. They get another shot at the football before the first quarter comes to an end.
And Jeff, Conti's a big back. He's about 6'1", 180 pounds, and he goes in there pretty much straight up.
Dave Morris stands and punts it away. A wobbly end-over-end kick goes out of bounds at the Wolverine 31-yard line. They'll take over 1st down and 10. 3:54 remaining in the first quarter of play. It's Ellwood 7, Beth-Center nothing. Now this message. Play action. Ketterer going straight up to Billy Chapman. Bill running hard this week as he has done all season since that first ball game. Bowls his way out close to a Wolverine first down. Will be shy by about a yard as they place it on the 39 of Ellwood. Charles Buddy Pugh made the stop defensively for the Bulldogs.
9 yards. Excellent blocking up front that was, Jeff. The Wolverines attacking. They're attacking very hard. They're going right at the defense, and Bill Chapman is just like a fire plug. He's low and he's strong, and people are trying to grab him, and they can't pull him down from his shoulders. Good leg drive on the part of Bill Chapman. Unbalanced to the near side of the line for the Wolverines, and they run to that power. Chapman stopped up, but he might have that first down. Chances are they're going to have to measure. Got a good spot on it, and they are going to have to bring in the sticks to measure. 3:10 remaining in the first quarter of play. It's Ellwood 7, Beth-Center nothing. You got to give the fans that follow the Wolverines, Jeff, a great deal of credit for them to come down here in this very, very cold weather. Everybody's bundled up, but they're here to support the Wolverines, and I know that they want to follow them all the way. In fact, it would be the greatest thing in probably the history of Ellwood City to take it down to the Three Rivers Stadium next week for a championship ball game. Ketterer standing by while they do measure. Wolverines traveling from left to right. 3:10 remaining in the first quarter of play. Ellwood gets it by an Nat's eyelash. Oh, you're telling me. Chris Ketterer got down on his hands and knees and looked at the sticks because it was that close. They had to look at it, but it just barely touched it. All right, we're ready. 1st and 10 now for the Wolverines. 7-0 they lead it, Jeff. From their 41-yard line. Jones still limping on that right ankle, so we will keep an eye on him throughout the ballgame. Billy Chapman off left tackle finds a big hole, and he picks up about 4. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 6. Ball resting now on the Wolverine 44-yard line. Coming up with a stop defensively is Joe Coons. As you said, it was a big hole, but it closed up very quickly, too. As quickly as it opened up, it closed up. The linebackers got over there. It was a slant off the left tackle, and it closed up almost as quickly as I said, as it opened. 2nd down, call it 6. DeLuca in motion to the near side, takes the counter. A play that Jones runs. DeLuca fumbles the football. It's picked up by Beth-Center. They have recovered on the Wolverine 44-yard line. Well, Johnny DeLuca took a hard hit, actually a helmet, stuck in there, Phil, and in this type of weather, the hands are a little bit cold. John does not have the gloves on like some other of the running backs do for the Wolverines. And he did not hold on to the football. Yeah, he got hit very hard. Right, he got hit hard up in there, and he had just taken the handoff, too. He never really had a good handle on it. Didn't have control of the ball. I'm keeping an eye pretty closely on Joe Roth to see his condition, because I think the Wolverines, should they need him, they will probably go with Joe Roth also in there on offense. Joe Patterson, by the way, recovered that fumble. Actually, when it was fumbled, it rolled off a couple of helmets of Beth-Center players, and they were not able to locate it either. 2:05 remaining in the first quarter of play. Ellwood leading at 7-0. Chris falls down. Now, this is how bad the footing is out here. Let's give you an idea what the field looks like. It's very little grass, also hard. There's a big dirt spot running from about the 25-yard line here on the front right side of the field as we look at it from our vantage point, to the other 25-yard line, which the Wolverines have their back to at this present time, and they are in the middle of it. Well, the Wolverines could have forced Beth-Center into a position where they have to throw the ball. New quarterback in, too, Jeff. 2nd down, 14. Quarterback in now is Bruce Miller. Pitch back goes to Sanders. He has some running room on the far side of the field. So the Wolverine 40 cuts back inside to 35 and picks up that first down. So he picks up about 15 yards on the carry, getting it inside the Wolverine 35 to about their 31-yard line. 1st down and 10 as Brian Gibbons made the stop defensively for Ellwood. And the quarterback that time, Bruce Miller, limped very noticeably. He came down the line on that option, but he was not going to run the ball. It would look like a predetermined pitch, and the Wolverines are going to take a timeout, Jeff. No, it's an official's timeout. Because it looks like somebody might be injured for the Ellwood City ball club.
No, he's just helmet.
Oh, they're working on the helmet out there.
Gibbons is getting his helmet fixed.
Miller stayed in at quarterback now. Maybe right after that fall, Klisch turned around and fell down as he tried to drop back. And Miller now has replaced him as the starting quarterback. But he's noticeably limping. And as I said in the pregame, Miller did not take snaps from center at all. So he's in there cold right now in more ways than one.
Clock continuing to run. We have under a minute remaining in the first quarter of action. Ellwood leading at 7-0. Have their backs against the wall, though, at the present time. Motion comes to the near side. Miller wants to run the option. Keeps the football dragged down from behind. Scott Timmerman chased him down, dragged him down from behind. There'll be a loss of 1 in the play. That'll bring up a 2nd down and 11 from the Wolverine 32-yard line. Give credit to Scott Timmerman. He shot the gap and was able to make the stop.
I'll tell you what else, Jeff. Give a lot of credit to Nick Perry. Nick Perry burst in there and went right after Sanders in the backfield. And Sanders was being tackled at the same time as the quarterback was, and he had nobody to pitch it to. So he had to eat the ball.
Sanders, Conti, and Holmes are the running backs. Counter goes off to Sanders, tiptoes his way through the line, and he'll find nothing as the clock continues to run. He gets inside the Wolverine 30 to about the 29-yard line. So we'll give him a pickup of about 3. That'll bring up a 3rd down, and we'll call it a short 9 to go. Richard made the stop. And that'll be the end of the first quarter of play with the score Ellwood City 7.
That's the end of the first quarter.
Beth-Center, nothing. Now we'll take this 60-second timeout and be back for second quarter action. Klisch back in at quarterback to start the second quarter of action. He goes back to pass off the play action, looks over the middle, hits his big tight end, Charles Buddy Pugh. And the 6'4", 200-pound senior pulls it in good for a first down. So that'll be a pickup of about 15 on the play. Pugh pulls it in for the first down, getting it inside the Wolverine 15, and it will rest on the 13-yard line. Portugallo on the coverage, but Pugh going down by himself without taking a hit by Portugallo.
Yeah, the pass came in a little bit high. The Wolverines had good defense back there, but the ball was just too high for the smaller defensive backs from Ellwood City, but high enough for Pugh very easily.
Klisch sets him down, backs are split. Goes straight off to Conti. Conti finds some running room getting inside the Wolverines 10 to about their 7-yard line. As he's brought down by Ritzert.
Boy, that hole opened up very quickly off that left side. A slant off the left side. And it opened up quickly for Conti. But I'll tell you what, Jeff, the Wolverines are going to have to probably make a stand here if they want to get the momentum back on their side that they had early.
Pick up a 5, 2nd and 5. Again, they go to Conti. He's hitting the backfield and dropped. Shooting in to make the stop, Sean Reese. As soon as that ball was snapped, he was back there while Conti was taking the handoff. And he was able to stop him for the loss, so that'll back him up a couple of yards, bringing up a 3rd down and 7. So a loss of 2. The ball rests now on the Wolverine 9.5-yard line. 3rd down, and we'll call it 7.
All right, the Wolverines lead at 7-0 in the second quarter, but that big tight end, Pugh, kind of scares me because he can go up over some of our defensive backs if they have to put the ball up in the air. We'll watch for him.
They get out of the full house. Straight off, the Wolverines stop it up again. Nick Perry up there to help make the stop. Joe Roth in there to plug the hole also. And a pickup of about half a yard in the play. Possibly even 1 as they get it inside the 9 a little bit farther to about the 8.5-yard line.
Jeff, they're going to go for it on 4th down, and they need a good 6 or 7 yards, almost 6.5 yards for a first down.
This is where you might look for the pass.
Yeah, look for Pugh now.
Again, the full house. Klisch can throw the ball. Play action pass. Klisch pressured, throwed, touchdown. They flooded the zone on the far side of the field. Sanders took it and was able to gallop in from the 1. How about that? Beth-Center back in the ball game. Of course, we have a long way to go. Only second quarter action. 9:49 remaining in the first half of play. It's 7-6, and an all-important extra point coming up for the Beth-Center Bulldogs.
And we were watching them in the pregame and the warm-ups, and they do have a good kicker. I didn't get his number, but he is a good kicker. He was kicking them very far and long, and he can tie the ball game up in this situation.
Klisch will be the holder. Kicking it will be Joe Coons.
It's blocked.
It's blocked by the Wolverines, and getting in there to do it is Paul Portugallo. So the Wolverines stay on top 7-6, 9:49 remaining in the first half of play. Now this message.
Announcing the grand opening of Fleming Tire's newest location, Route 422, just east of Newcastle. The new Fleming Tire is your service specialist. Fleming features quality wheels.
7-6.
Well, Jeff, that might be the way that they can get the momentum back that they had lost. They had given up a drive downfield on 2 big plays, but to block that extra point might be the momentum to get them back again once they start on offense. The Wolverines lead at 7-6, 9:49 left in the first half.
That was a 9-yard scoring pass, of course, that we might not have mentioned to you, from Klisch to his running back, Mike Sanders. What they did was flood the zone, the flat on the far side of the field, and Sanders took it in. And he even had a back in front of him to block.
Yes, and well, a lot of that had to do with the fact that the Wolverines were blitzing. They sent a lot of guys after the quarterback and hoped to get him.
And they almost did get it, Klisch. Kickoff by Coons. High, and will go out of bounds, so the flag will be thrown. DeLuca was the closest man to that. He, along with Chapman and Jones, are back to receive the kicks.
We still have to remind people, we'll probably do this throughout the ball game. It doesn't sound like there's anybody here at the ball game, and that's a lot of that. You might hear a little bit of background noise. We set up a mic outside, but basically we are in an enclosed booth. That's, I guess, pretty nice for us anyway in this cold weather, but you don't hear a lot of the crowd noise, and you don't hear the loud crowd here from Ellwood City right in front of us.
Ball plays back at the 35.
So we'll do it all over again. They'll be we'll be kicking from the 35. I bet a lot of guys wish they were cooking out there.
9:49 remaining in first half of play. Ellwood leading at 7-6. Stick with us because this is going to be a goodie. Winner goes to Three Rivers Stadium for a game next Saturday afternoon, the final of the WPIAL AA. DeLuca, having a tough time finding the handle on the ball, finally picks it up at the 5. Avoids one tackler and gets it out to the 10. So John wasn't able to get a hold on it, and it was kicked over his head. He's brought down at the 10-yard line.
And it's funny.
Dylan made the stop defensively for the Bulldogs.
Jeff, because John went back to field the ball, and then he stopped and looked for somebody else, as though he thought somebody else was going to get the ball. And he let it drop over his shoulder then, after having touched it.
Ellwood City.
Of course, he did the right thing by going back and picking up the ball, but I don't know why he didn't go right back and pick up that ball and field it. All right, we have a long drive now. We're going to have to get it going.
Split backs. Jones comes in motion to the near side, takes the handoff, rips it out to block in front of him, and he'll pick up just a couple as he gets it across the 10 to about the 11-yard line. Defensively making the stop for the Bulldogs is Vaughn Braddock, one of the linebackers for the Bulldogs. That'll bring up a second down, and we'll call it about 9 to go for the first.
I wonder if Kevin Jones is hurt more seriously than we thought, because they've been handing the ball more on to DeLuca on that off-tackle play that usually is Kevin Jones' specialty.
Under 9 minutes remaining in the first half of play. Ellwood leading at 7-0. Billy Chapman finds a hole, pulls his way across the Wolverine 15 to the 16-yard line. Might even get to 17 depending on the spot, and that is where they do mark it. So Bill will be close to a Wolverine first down, but shy by about 1.5 yards. Joe Patterson, one of the linebackers for the Bulldogs, makes the stop. So they'll be shy actually by a couple of yards. 3rd down and 2, and a big 3rd down play for the Wolverines.
Yeah, you don't know the importance of this play because the Wolverines have to get that ball out of their own territory. Otherwise, they would have to kick from a very deep position on the field.
Jones motion to the near side. Straight ahead, Chapman, he gets the first down and more across the 20 to the 26-yard line of the Wolverines as Joe Coons makes the stop for the Bulldogs. That'll move the sticks, and that'll give the Wolverines a little bit of breathing room as they place it on the Wolverine 25.
Bill Chapman came running right toward us here at the press box from right to left, came right off tackle, slanting off. He put his head down to try to get those extra yards, but I'll bet had he looked up, he would have seen open field ahead of him and might have been able to turn it up for extra yardage.
Ball rests on a near hash mark. Petrelli out wide to the near side. Straight ahead. Again, they go off to Bill Chapman, getting the call quite a bit this evening, up to about the 30-yard line.
Bill Chapman, the ball carrier.
As Bill picks up, we'll call it about 4 on the play. That'll make it a 2nd and a short 6. Bastion, the stop defensively for the Bulldogs from Beth-Center.
And if you just tuned in, the Wolverines did take on a beautiful option play, a pitch out from Chris Ketterer to John DeLuca on a 42-yard run. The Wolverines took the lead at 7-6 and have the lead right now, 7-6 on a blocked extra point.
7.5 minutes remaining in the first half. Jones looking for room, hit hard for a loss of about 1, moving him back to the Wolverine 29. Their line of scrimmage was the 30. Mike Ritz, the cornerback, coming up quickly to make the stop. for the Bulldogs. So that'll bring up a third down, and we'll call it about 6 to go for the first.
You know, I was watching Kevin Jones on that carry. It looks as though the footing must be very difficult, a little bit precarious out there. He looked like he was afraid he might slide. He was slipping as he took the handoff.
Well, he also seems to be favoring that right ankle of his a little bit, too. Split back again. Ketterer sends Jones in motion to the near side. Here comes the option. Ketterer wants to keep it, gets it across the 30, down to the 35. We have flags flying. It could be some kind of holding call against the Wolverines is the likely call.
Yeah, it looks as though the back judge came up. Yes, I see Chris Ketterer calling a hold against the Wolverines. So that could put Ellwood City in a position where they might have to throw the ball.
Against the Wolverines.
I'm sure that Beth-Center will take that penalty, although it might bring up a fourth down if they don't take it. So it's a tough decision. Are you going to take it and make it fourth down and 1? Or not, decline it, make it fourth down and 1 for Ellwood City? You're going to take the penalty and make it about third down and about, what am I going to say, about 12 or 13.
And they are coaching staff from the Beth-Center discussing it.
They might decline the penalty and make it fourth down.
Head coach Don Bartolomucci, along with assistant coaches Natal Ciccini, and also Don Roddy. They'll take the penalty.
Well, let's see the circumstance here. The Wolverines are putting a whole new lineup into the ballgame. Is that their kicking team? No, it's not their kicking team.
That'll bring up a third down and about 11 to go for the first. Wolverines will have the ball at their line of scrimmage on their 24.5-yard line.
And if the Wolverines should bust a big play here, that could really turn the tide, because they had a chance to put the Wolverines in a fourth down circumstance.
DeLuca in motion. Straight ahead, quick opener to Kevin Jones, and they shut it off. Wolverines will be forced to punt it away. Jones found a little bit of a hole, but it closed quickly as he gets it across the Wolverine 25 to the 26-yard line. And coming up with a stop was James Knopp, also Gary Dunphy for Beth-Center. 6:08 remaining in the first half of play. Ellwood with a slim 7-6 lead over Beth-Center.
And the Bulldogs did negotiate a nice drive the last time they had the ball, so Ellwood City, when they give it back, are going to have to hold tough.
Low kickoff by Morgan. Takes a bounce backwards, but Nick Perry is there to field it. Weiner wanted to get a return on it, but he was not able to do so. Perry downs it in Beth-Center territory on their 49-yard line. 5:50 remaining in the first half of play. It's Ellwood 7, Beth-Center 6. Now this message. 5:35 remaining. Back to live action. Clish wants to pass. Standing at his 40. Straight drop back. Lets it fly. Has his receiver open. Through his hands. Perry was on the coverage. Sanders beat out Perry and just simply dropped that pass. Clish had it right on the mark at the 20-yard line.
Boy, I'll tell you. Perry on that side was just beaten, flat out beaten. He let his man run right past him, and the pass was right in his hands. Was that Sanders out there?
Right.
Sanders ran right past him, and he was wide open and let the ball fall right through his hands. The Wolverines are going to have to be careful, because obviously Clish is the passing quarterback of the two. He's put the ball on the money almost every time he's dropped back there.
See a stretcher going to the far side of the field for Beth-Center. We'll try to get a look on that a little bit. Draw goes off to Sanders, getting it into Wolverine territory across the 50 down to the 47 as the Ritzert makes the stop for the Wolverines. That'll bring up a second down. We'll call it 6 to go from the Wolverine 47-yard line. No, third down. Check that. Third down, 6 to go from the Wolverine 47-yard line.
I'm trying to get the number.
That's that quarterback. That's Bruce Miller.
Okay, I know he's limping off the field, and I think it was on that one play where Scott Timmerman took him down on that option off tackle, and he's being taken out in an ambulance.
They'll send Pugh out wide to the far side, put Holmes in the slot also on the far side. Straight drop back. No play action. Throws. Incomplete. Too high. Now they'll try to throw it high to Pugh. He stands 6'4" at about 200 pounds. That'll bring up a 4th and 6. Coverage man was Nicky Perry, and he was right there on the coverage that time. He needed to apply the stick to Charles Buddy Pugh.
Jeff, I was watching Clish as he stepped back dropping back to pass that ball, and he was losing his footing again. I don't know what's wrong out there, but they are having a hard time keeping their footing. It looks as though some of the guys have turf shoes on rather than spikes out there for Beth-Center. I'm not sure how many of them, though.
Wolverines are going to put 10 men up on the line. Here they come to try to block it. Almost blocked by Portugallo. He just missed it, and it's kicked out of bounds. on the Wolverine 25-yard line. I believe Portugallo got part of the football.
I don't know. If he didn't, I can't believe it, because you'll have to see the films on that. He went right by it. If it missed his hand, it didn't miss it by much. It would have had to go through his hand, because he was there. Portugallo was there right on the spot. And the Wolverines still with a 7-6 lead. They get the ball right back again, about the same position where they left it off.
Nobody touched Portugallo, by the way.
No.
Stacked up the middle and isolated Paul here to the near side of the field, and he was able to shoot in. And as we will call it, Phil, we'll say he got a partial hand on that. 4:40 remaining in the first half of play. Ellwood leads it 7-6. They have the football on their own 25. Straight ahead, Billy Chapman bowls his way across the 30 to about the 31-yard line. And Bill, as he has done all year, playing tremendous football tonight, Frank Magda makes the stop defensively for the Bulldogs. That'll be a pickup of about 8.5. That'll be second and a short 1 to go for the first. And a long one.
Yeah, Chapman has been running real well. In fact, that's his 4th run of the evening already. That's been for either 8 or 9 yards.
DeLuca in the slot. They go to Jones. Try the counter to the near side. Hit in the backfield and dropped at the 30. So he will lose a couple. Lose about 1 in the play. That'll bring up a 3rd down and a long 2 to go for the Wolverines. That play worked early for them in the ball game, Phil, as Patterson made the stop this time for the Bulldogs. But the Bulldogs have seemed to adjust somewhat and have been able to shut it down thus far.
And Kevin, I just don't understand what's wrong. As you said, it must be his foot or something, because he's not moving real quickly off the ball the way he usually does. He's running toward the sideline, which is, in essence, downhill.
Ketterer, quick count. Billy Chapman hit it to 33, but bowls his way ahead to about the 34, and that should be enough for a first down. They might even have to measure.
It looks as though he reached the 35, and that would be a first down.
He got it. He got the first. Coons made the stop, but not in time. 3:33 remaining in the first half of play. Ellwood leads at 7-6, and picked up that needed first down, because had they not, they would have had to punt it away.
And this is kind of reversed, Jeff, of what we've usually seen. The teams have been keying on Chapman, and it's been Jones open. Now Jones has been keyed on, and Chapman's been open.
DeLuca in motion. They give it straight ahead to Bill. Trap blocking inside as the Wolverines move it through with Chapman carrying the mill, across the 35 up to about the 39-yard line. Joe Patterson with the stop. Give Bill a pickup of about 4 in the play. So 2nd and 6 from the Wolverines 39.
And thus far in the ball game, the Wolverines have not attempted a pass, and we're down to about 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes left in the first half of the ball game. They have not put the ball in the air.
Option coming. Ketterer looking for it. Finding tough running, but Chris bowls his way ahead to pick up about 3 on the play. And close to another Wolverine first down. Philly was hit at the line of scrimmage at about the 40. Was able to bowl his way up with 3 players on his back to the 43-yard line. Holmes made the stop, and also Frank Bastian defensively. So that'll bring up a 3rd down and 1, and here's another crucial play for Ellwood City.
Yes, he gained most of that, though, on his own. He was hit at the line of the scrimmage and carried people with him 4 yards.
3rd and 1 from the Wolverine 44. Straight ahead to Bill Chapman. He is still on his feet bowling ahead, and he'll be shy of the Wolverine first down. That'll bring up a 4th and about 1 to go. They hit Bill right at the line of scrimmage, and he was not able to spin out of that.
Thrift making the initial hit.
Thrift with the stop defensively for the Bulldogs.
And I think the Wolverines will probably go for it, because they have just inside 2 minutes left in the first half, and I think the Wolverines would go for it. They are going for it. If Joe Roth were here, you know what the call would be, but Joe still has not gone in on offense. He's played solely on defense. 4th and 1, we're going for it.
Chapman is in the backfield. Perry also in there in the slot to the near side. Wolverines, here they go with the switch again on the tight end. Defensively, the Bulldogs do not jump. Timeout called by Ketterer.
Good play, good play. The Wolverines tried to draw the defense offside. It did not work. They shifted their defense. They had the guys jumping from side to side. It didn't work. So Ketterer off to take the timeout in a very smart play.
1:26 remaining in the first half of play. Ellwood 7, Beth-Center 6. Now this message.
Away in Cranberry.
Morgan gets off a low, wobbly punt. Fielded by Sanders. He's at the 50. The 45, the 40, still on his feet. He could go all the way. He will. Wolverines break down defensively. Sanders got a jump on it, took the low-fielded kick, and took it in for the touchdown. We see no yellow flags on the field, and Beth-Center goes on top by the score of 12-7. You have to play 4 quarters of football, and that includes also the special teams, Phil. That time the Wolverines had a breakdown.
Yes, and it's kind of been a problem for the Wolverines, Jeff, most of the year. Morgan, although he's gotten a break many times, he has punted the ball traditionally very low, and people have let the ball hit the ground. What Sanders did is he just didn't let that ball hit the ground. He took it on a fly, took it on a run, went right down the middle with the ball, and it was wide open because he took it on the run and was already past 3 guys before they even knew it. So the Wolverines, with the 1:12 mark left here in the first half, have all of a sudden gone behind.
And that scoring run carrying about 60 yards. Sanders taking it on the low punt by Morgan. He takes it in. Now with a touchdown.
They'll probably go for 2. I saw the kicker out there, but he left the field again because Ellwood City called timeout to try to set up some kind of a block. But they'll probably go for 2 because they only have 12 now, and they could go up to 14.
Beth-Center on top, 12-7. 1:12 remaining in the first half of play. Now this message.
From attorney Nick Frisk, 113 5th Street in Ellwood City.
Klisch back to pass, looks in the end zone, it's broken up. They go for the 2 and they don't make it. 1:12 remaining in the first half of play. It's Beth-Center 12, Ellwood City 7. Let's take this 30-second timeout. The score, Beth-Center on top after that 60-yard scoring run taken on the punt by the Wolverines Morgan. To Sanders, who took it on the 40-yard line of Beth-Center in for that 60-yard touchdown. Coons set to kick it off now.
It's been a couple unusual plays. The Wolverines have nearly always gotten that 4th down and 1 play, but this time they didn't go for it, and the punt ended up being a touchdown the other way.
Coons sends it high into the near side, taken by DeLuca on his 10. To the 15, he has a hole. DeLuca to the 35, the 40, and brought down behind at the 42-yard line by Conti, and had Conti not made the stop, Sanders was the safety valve at about the 50, but you like to think that John might have been able to elude him and get another touchdown here for Ellwood City. They have about 1:02 to work with, Phil, from their 43.
Jeff, I was just going to say, don't you think this is kind of an ironic thing that the Wolverines did? Instead of going for the 4th and 1, they decided to go for the safer of the 2 things and punted it, and it ended up being a touchdown the other way.
33-yard kickoff return for the Wolverines. Ketterer back to pass for the first time tonight. Looks and throws to Kevin Jones, and he'll overthrow him. Kevin almost getting a hand on that as he dives at the 30. He had him open. Sanders was with him, but Kevin might have been able to curl back to get that had it been a little bit short.
And the Wolverines going up top real quickly, trying to get something deep. And although I really am kind of more the advocate of going to the shorter stuff first and moving it up and try to get in field goal position, and then go into the end zone with the ball. They tried to go up top right away on the 1st down play.
Ketterer aired it out, incomplete. 2nd down and 10 from the Wolverine 43. 42 seconds remaining in the first half of play. Beth-Center leading it 12-7. DeLuca in motion to the far side. Ketterer again back to pass, the bootleg to the near side. Throws high, and Scotty Tillerman, I thought, possibly could have went up to grab that, Phil, on the 40 of Beth-Center, but he chose not to go up in the air. Might possibly just a little too high for Scott, and he stands himself. He's about 6'3", 210-pound tight end for the Wolverines.
You know, Jeff, oftentimes, though, you've been in football yourself. Oftentimes when a ball comes in high like that, you know there's somebody deeper. Sometimes you don't go up with it because you think it's for somebody who's in a deeper route than you are, and you don't want to deflect something that could be going right to somebody else.
37 seconds on the stop clock left in the first half. 3rd and 10 for Ellwood. Off to Chapman, gets it to the 50. Billy picks up 8 on the play. That'll bring up a 4th down and 2 to go from about, they'll mark it at the 49.5-yard line. Bastian made the stop, and they tried to draw to Chapman, and it worked successfully for a pickup of 8, but they're still shy and have about 2 yards to go for a 1st down.
Well, what Coach Rankin might do is just let the clock run out for the first half rather than punt the ball away or risk putting something up with 7 or 6-5, and we're counting down. He'll probably let the half run out.
That's what he's going to do. That is the end of the first half of play. Ellwood is into the locker room. 5 points down. Beth-Center leads it 12-7. Let's take this break and bring it back and talk about the first half. And they have been avoiding Chapman. Chapman standing straight in the center. And now we see back here they have Chapman over to the right side and have switched places with he and DeLuca. And they will probably try to kick it down the middle this time to avoid getting at the bill.
And Jeff, I'll tell you, that note that you made about the tennis shoes might be a very important one here in the second half. I've also noticed that the Ellwood City followers have adopted many cheerleaders to start them going here. Skycam helicopter just flew overhead, and that started them, getting them riled up, and then we've adopted many cheerleaders. Tennis shoes, the course out there right now, and here we go to start the second half of tonight's ball game.
Coon sends it long. It gets past Jones. He has to scatter for it, picks it up on the 2. He's at the 5, the 10, and brought down. So again, the Wolverines have trouble with the kickoff, and once again they have a first down and 10. Deep in their own territory on the 10-yard line as Jody Conti made the tackle defensively for the Bulldogs of Beth-Center.
It went right between two players back there, DeLuca and Jones, and I think that they looked at each other for a while, and it was another specialty team error. The ball very easily might have taken one more bounce into the end zone, but I think Kevin Jones did the right thing of picking the ball up, because it might have just fallen dead right on the 2-yard line also.
Ketterer the quarterback, Jones and Chapman the backs. Chapman hurls over one defensive tackler, gets it out to the 15-yard line, gives Bill a pickup. As he gets it across the 15, they mark it on the 16-yard line. So give Bill a pickup of about 5. That'll make it 2nd and 5. Gary Dunphy, the right defensive end, makes the stop for the Bulldogs.
And if that first play is any indication, Chapman hurdled over the first man. It looks as though they're able to get their footing a little bit better with those tennis shoes on. We'll elaborate on that a little bit later.
2nd down and 5. Straight ahead again off to Bill Chapman, and he stopped up after a pickup of 1. That'll bring up a 3rd down. We'll call it 4 from the Wolverine 17-yard line.
Chapman that time was tripped just by a hand inside. He had a hole and the quick trap open. And the Wolverines kind of need this 3rd down play because the punting ball game has not been their forte tonight, and they need to get a 1st down and keep a drive going because they're would have to punt from deep in their own end of the field.
Nick Perry in the slot to the near side. Here comes the option. Flags fly, and that'll blow the whistle. The whistle rather will blow the play dead.
It's probably illegal procedure against Ellwood, Jeff, and that will really hurt.
So it'll be
offside instead. So somebody had to have lined up offside.
Wolverines need to get the momentum going on their side right now. Early in the ball game, they established that in the first half of play, Phil, scoring quickly, and right now it seems as though the momentum is on the side of Beth-Center. They went in at the half leading 12-7. That's where we stand, 10:31 remaining in the 3rd quarter of play. Beth-Center 12, Ellwood City 7. Wolverines faced with a 3rd and 8 situation on their own 13.
You could look for the quick pass now because they have to get something quick.
Ketterer wants to pass. He's in trouble, and he is going to be sacked. He sacked at about the 6-yard line. They'll mark it is where he got to. And they'll be forced to punt it away deep in their own territory. The sophomore Morgan will be standing in his end zone. Joe Patterson comes up to make the stop, and the sack credited to Patterson. By the way, this ball club has been credited with 45 quarterback sacks on the season, 21 of those going to Gary Dunphy.
Well, that time, Jeff, Chris Ketterer was rolling out to his left, and he had a blocker with him, but the blocker who was trying to keep the defender to the outside, Chris kind of rolled out with him, and the blocker actually ended up being ineffective because he blocked him right into Chris Ketterer.
Timeout for an injured player on the field from Beth-Center. 10:05 remaining in the 3rd quarter of play. It's Beth-Center 12, Ellwood City 7. Now this message. Of action. Jeff Hazen, Phil Weimer, and the injured player gets up and moves off the field underneath his own power. That is Gary Dunphy. So speaking about Gary a few minutes ago, credited with 21 quarterback sacks single-handedly on the season for the Beth-Center Bulldogs.
Now the Bulldogs are going to get the ball on this kick in their own, in the Ellwood territory.
Gwiner back to receive another low kick towards Gwiner. Gwiner gets out of the way, and it takes a bounce this time for Morgan, something that's done well for Tom all season long. Wolverines down it on their own 45-yard line, down by Nick Perry, and still relatively good field position for the Bulldogs of Beth-Center. Wolverines defense, a big situation for their defense now is to get the football back.
What the Wolverines count on that punt, Morgan does not get good height on the ball. He counts on bounces, and those low liners oftentimes do get good bounces for him. But that time he had somebody there to down it. The previous time they came up and took it right on the fly.
1st and 10 from the Wolverine 45-yard line, full house backfield. quarterback is Klisch. Klisch hands off to Sanders. He's hitting the backfield and dropped for a loss of 2. That'll back him up to the Wolverine 48-yard line. Richard shooting in to make the stop, and they'll give him a loss of 3 on that. So that'll bring a second down and 13 situation up from the Wolverine 48-yard line.
Well, Jeff, we have to think about one thing. Because of injuries now, the Bulldogs from Beth-Center have been limited as far as their offense is concerned. They're kind of limited to just Sanders and Conti and the passing of Klisch. And that really hurts them and limits their offensive attack greatly.
Klisch this time running out of the wishbone. Counters. Goes off to Sanders. Sanders picks up 1 in the play, getting it to the Wolverine 47-yard line. Peretta on the stop. They tried to counter and trap blocking inside. Peretta read it. Also Roth coming up to help make the stop. 3rd down, 12 to go from the Wolverine 47.
And Kevin Jones comes running off the field, Jeff, and you notice he's limping noticeably now. I don't know what happened if he was mixed up in that play, but he was limping obviously on that right foot.
And he's been favoring that most of the ball game. Petrelli in there to take Ketterer, or rather his spot in the backfield. Play action pass, long drop by Klisch, fires and incomplete. Intended receiver was about the 30-yard line, tried to make a diving catch. That was Joe Coons, and he was covered by Portugal, also Chris Ketterer over there. And what I meant to say was Petrelli is in to take the place of Kevin Jones, who came out limping badly on that right ankle. So the Wolverines hold. They force Beth-Center to punt it away.
That was Bill Peretta putting a good rush in on Klisch, too. He had to get that ball off in a hurry. Klisch is a big quarterback. He got it up high.
Morris standing on his own 42. Wolverines send 10 men in. Almost block it. End over end kick. Ketterer will get a return. Looking for running room at the 20. Cuts back inside, still on his feet, and he will be brought down at the 21-yard line. That's where he got his forward progress to, and he's brought down by a host of Beth-Center ball players. 8:07 remaining in the 3rd quarter of play, and Wolverines will have a hand at it on their own 21-yard line.
And the most important thing right now is that in that turnaround, the defense held in such a way to give Ellwood City better field position. They only had it on the 10, and in the exchange of downs, they gained another 10 yards because the Wolverines now have it on the 20 to start this set of downs. They trail it 7 for Ellwood City, 12 for the Beth-Center Bulldogs. The referees are calling a timeout on the field. I don't know whether it's a player injury or they're talking to one of the Beth-Center ball players right now.
Equipment. It looks like an equipment check as they're working on the shoulder pads of one of the Beth-Center ball players.
Maybe we can mention real quickly here that the reason probably that the Wolverines decided to change shoes and go with the tennis shoes type shoe instead of the cleat, and if you can imagine walking with cleats on a hard surface, they would have a tendency to slip and slide, and that's probably why they've gone with a tennis shoe here in the second half.
Imagine walking with cleats on top of asphalt is basically what it is like. Straight ahead to Bill Chapman. He's bowling his way inside, still on his feet as he gets it out to the 25-yard line of the Wolverines. So give him a pickup of about 4 they'll call it. 2nd down and 6 from the Wolverine 25-yard line as Charles Buddy Pugh makes the stop.
Well, here comes Joe Roth in for the first time on offense, and that's kind of a noticeable thing. I think the Wolverines have decided they've got to go with what they have, and he's one of their biggest weapons. So look for Joe Roth on offense now, if nothing else, as a blocker.
7:15 remaining in the 3rd quarter of play. Wolverines have it on their own 25. 2nd down and 6. Roth motion man to the near side, deep. Ketterer wants to pass, rolls to the far side, looks, stops, throws. Timmerman takes it at the 40-yard line and takes it out of bounds, picks up the 1st down and a lot more. Pickup of about 15 on the play as Timmerman is finally taken out of bounds at the 43 by Hritz. So that'll be a big play. They tried to hit Timmerman earlier with that fill in the first half of play. He fell incomplete as it went over the head of Scotty, and this time it's right on the mark from Ketterer to Timmerman. That's a 1st down for the Wolverines, and they are in business now on their own 43-yard line.
Nice pass that time from Ketterer. It was right on the money as he was rolling also.
17-yard pickup.
Here comes the option.
Ketterer keeps it, breaks through into the secondary and into Beth-Center territory, and is brought down on their 44-yard line. So that'll be a pickup of about 11 as Ketterer gets across midfield and down to the 44-yard line. Hritz makes the stop. So we might have a change of momentum towards the Wolverines at this point in time.
All right, and with those injured players, that's going to start to play on the minds of the Beth-Center Bulldogs. They know that they have some of their key players out with injuries, and that's going to start playing on their minds because it's a secondary defensive defensive players also for Beth-Center who went down with injuries.
A pickup of 11 and another first down for Ellwood. DeLuca in the game again. The option. Pitch back to DeLuca, and it's tipped by a good defensive effort that time by Beth-Center as Conti tipped it as it was pitched. Now, had Conti not tipped it, Phil, DeLuca had the sidelines open again as he did for that 44-yard TD romp in the first quarter of action.
Well, the pitch was a bad pitch. It was not in a position where DeLuca could get to the ball. That was because a defender cut off the inside line between the two players. So that'll bring it to 2nd and 12, and you might look for Ketter to go to the air once again.
Wolverines have it on the 46-yard line of Beth-Center. DeLuca again motion to the near side. Single setback is Chapman. Straight drop back. Ketter flushed out of the pocket, hits Chapman, and he's stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Coons comes up to make the stop at the 45-yard line. So Billy had no running room once he did the flare out over the middle.
Well, he ended up getting credited for a 2-yard gain because they had lost, well, actually 1-yard gain because they had lost 2 on the previous play, and it's going to bring up now 3rd down and 11, and the Wolverines are going to have to put the ball in the air. Now, there's 2 things that are working for the Wolverines. The Bulldogs have a great front group. The Bulldogs can come at you, but their defensive secondary is a little bit weak, so they'll probably come with a blitz and hopefully get to Ketterer.
Portugal wide to the near side. DeLuca comes in motion. Flags fly. Wolverines will be called for the penalty. They hit Portugal over the middle at the 30, the 25, and lose another tackler and gets inside the 20 to the 19, but I do believe that penalty flag will go against Ellwood City. We hope not, but it could be either a holding call or motion, and it went awfully quick, so we have to look for motion.
Illegal procedure, Ellwood. Yep. But that pass play was wide open. It was Portugal right over the middle, curled in. Just given a second, a little bit of time like that, Ketterer can hit those men wide open, and I don't know who the player was who moved, but the flag was thrown right away.
Something that's working well for Ellwood City. So they really don't even have to go to the play-action pass because Ketterer has the mobility to be, if he is flushed out of the pocket, to throw on the run. He demonstrated that there, and as you mentioned, the Wolverines are finding openings and seams in that defensive secondary and right behind the linebackers underneath the secondary coverage.
Yeah, the play for the Wolverines is going to have to be to get that ball into the secondary and try with that offensive line. They're going to have to give Ketterer just a few seconds because the openings will be there in the secondary. Wolverines trail at 12-7.
3rd and 16 from the Wolverine, or rather from the 49 of Beth-Center. Play action pass, Ketterer. Look, he's going to be in the grasp and brought down for a loss of about 9 yards. Ketterer is brought down in Wolverine territory on the 41, so that time the Wolverines' offensive front does not block. And coming up to make the tackle is Gary Dunphy.
Tough. It's really tough, Jeff, because that time the Wolverine players had to get 12 to 13 yards just to get in first down area, and that's a long time to give a quarterback. You have to give him a lot of time, and that time they weren't able to do it.
But penalties at a bad time stop that drive for Ellwood. Morgan will hunt it away, and he needs a good one now. Here they come. Morgan gets off another low kick, but it has a spiral to it. Heads towards out of bounds and will go out. At about the 33-yard line is where they will mark it. They'll mark it at the 34. First down and 10 as Morgan kicks it away from the return team in order to keep it from a return coming. Okay, now they don't mark it at the 34. They put it at the 31, so Tom got the extra couple of yards. First down and 10 for Beth-Center from their 31-yard line. 4:47 left in the third. Bulldogs lead it 12-7 over Ellwood City. Klisch, the quarterback, full house backfield. Conti motion to the far side. They line up tight. Straight ahead to Sanders, and he's stacked up after a pickup of 3. He's getting it out close to the to the Bulldog 34-yard line.
Well, I'll tell you what, you have to look at the field position now, too. Should the Wolverines be able to hold on this drive, they can get the ball back again. And you think you started the second half on your own 10-yard line, and now you've gotten it all the way down to near midfield. The field position has helped the Wolverines here in the second half. It's been to their advantage. They just got to get points on the board.
Cortez made the stop. Flags fly, and we'll have a illegal motion. Conti, by the way, was the ball carrier. He was hit at the line of scrimmage by Timmerman. But flags fly, and we should have motion, I believe, against Beth-Center. And we do have offsides called against Beth-Center. That'll back them up.
Okay, so that'll bring them into a second and about 11 yards. 4:13 left in the third quarter, and as we said, it's still 12-7 in favor of Beth-Center, and it's been just big plays. If you tuned in late, it was a punt return that puts the Beth-Center Bulldogs on top with about a minute left in the first half. And it was just after the Wolverines had decided not to go for a first down on 4th and short and play it safe. Instead, the safety ended up going the wrong way, and it was returned for a touchdown.
2nd and 11 from the 30-yard line of the Bulldogs. They have it. Doug Klisch, their quarterback, sets him down in the full house. Play action pass, Klisch. Pressured by Timmerman. Throws, and it's incomplete. Intended receiver was the big tight end Charles Buddy Pugh, and Phil, that seems to be the only receiver he likes to go to. Portugallo was on the coverage. Falls incomplete. That'll bring up a 3rd and 11. Stops the clock at 3:46 left in the third quarter of play. Beth-Center 12, Ellwood City 7. Nice now here for the Wolverines to hold, Phil, and force Beth-Center to punt, because Ellwood should then have pretty decent field position if they can get a half-decent return out of it.
Yeah, this would be a key play right now, and you can look for them to put the ball up in the air. And I'd look for the Wolverines to be shooting somebody after him.
Klisch, straight drop back. Klisch lets it fly, has a man wide open, almost picked off by Portugallo. Had his man Gwiner come out of the backfield. Paul was playing deep at about the Wolverine 35. Gwiner didn't realize he was there.
Boy, it looked like he was wide open for a second.
And I saw Paul Portugallo come out of nowhere as he was playing deep on the far side of the field. Paul came up to break it up and almost came up with that interception also. So 4th and 11, and the Bulldogs will be forced to punt it away as Chris Ketterer steps back to receive it, standing in Wolverine territory on about the 40-yard line. 3:39 remaining in the third quarter of play. The punter is Dave Morris for the Bulldogs, standing on his own 18. Gets off a low kick, should be returned by Chris. If he can get to it, he'll let it go. I thought he might have picked that one up because he would have had time. Down at the 25-yard line. 3:28 remaining in the third quarter of play. And the Wolverines will take over from their 25, 12-7. Beth-Center over the Wolverines. Now this message.
Chevrolet Oldsmobile, 812 Beaver Avenue, Ellwood City. The dealer they know they can trust.
First play from scrimmage on this series. Pugh made the tackle, and they went to Billy Chapman. Bill gets a couple across the Wolverine 25 to about the 27-yard line, so that'll bring up a 2nd down and 8 situation, and under 3 minutes left now in the third quarter of play.
And the Wolverines are going to have to sustain a drive here and try to get things downfield. And it's going to be tough when you've taken Kevin Jones. Even though he's limping up there, he's basically out of the lineup because he's not going to be able to carry the ball well.
DeLuca motion to the near side. Ketterer wants to pass. It's blocked by Pugh at the line of scrimmage. They tried to go for a quick outlet to Zimmerman on a quick bench pattern here to the near side of the field at about the 30, and it's knocked down by Pugh at the line of scrimmage. Pugh standing 6'4", 200 pounds, so he was able to get one of those big mitts on it to knock it down. 3rd down and 8 now for Ellwood from their 27-yard line.
They wanted to try to, as you said, try to get the pass off as quickly as possible, but nobody was open. Ketterer sort of telegraphed that pass, and everybody was jumping up. It could have been knocked down by 2 or 3 men in there.
Jones checks out, Perry in to take his place, and he goes in motion to the far side. Ketterer, long count. Ketterer rolls out to the near side, wants to pass. Ketterer stops, looks, throws, almost intercepted by Beth-Center. Intended for Timmerman, and Joe Patterson got a hand on it and almost picked it off at the Wolverine 40-yard line. Chris was hit also as he let go of that ball.
Yeah, that was Gary Dunphy again, a guy who was hurt a little bit, but he's come back into the ball game, and he's put a lot of pressure on Ketterer tonight. And then the Morgan's going to have to get off another punt. I think he might have been told at halftime maybe to go toward the sideline with those punts, because if they land up in the middle of the field, they end up being returned quickly.
Sanders, Gwiner back. Timmerman snaps a good one, and it's a low kick. Right at Sanders. He'll take it at the 45, and this time Wolverine coverage is there, dropping him at the 47-yard line. 2:18 remaining in the third quarter of play, and Beth-Center will take over on their own 47-yard line. They lead it 12-7 over the Wolverines of Ellwood City.
Well, Jeff, it's been up to the defense of this ball club so many times this year, and many times they've been equal to the task, and they forced some kind of a turnover. You remember last week the big interception by Nick Perry that turned the momentum at the very end of the third quarter. Well, we're down to almost 2 minutes left here in the third quarter, and a big turnover from the defense could spark this crowd and this team right now.
Kevin Jones in at cornerback, I notice, here on the near side. And they go straight to Conti. He busts a tackle, gets into Wolverine territory inside the 45 to about the 44-yard line. You know, you kind of wonder if Kevin's ankle is really bothering him that much. Should he be in there in the defensive lineup? Ketterer making the stop. after a pickup of 9. So 2nd and 1 for the Bulldogs from the Wolverine 44-yard line now. And you almost have to wonder, should Kevin even be in there with that ankle bothering him so much? It's heavily taped, we can see. And he could possibly be beat on a pass play. But we'll have to wait and see. Backs are split. Lining up very tight. Conti looks like he might have been able to spin ahead forward for the first down as Gibbons made the stop. Also Cortez in there.
Jeff, I'm really kind of surprised that the big kid Conti, he's about 6'1", as I said in the first half, and he runs pretty much straight up. I'm surprised that they're not kind of ball hawking and going after the ball with him carrying the ball. He did just pick up the first down, just enough for the first down that time. But I'd be going after the ball whenever he's carrying it. Sanders is a lot smaller, and it would be tough getting the ball away from him. He looks smaller and more compact.
That'll be a first down from the Wolverine 42-yard line. 1:12 now remaining in the third quarter. Straight ahead to Conti again, trying to keep it on the ground. Works his way outside, still on his feet as he rolls down to the 30-yard line of Ellwood City. So a lot of missed tackles. Conti was hit at the line of scrimmage at the 41. Broke a tackle there, broke another tackle in Wolverine territory at the 35, and gets it down to the 30-yard line now, and another first down. So pick up a 10.
Yeah, he picked up a 10 or 11 on that time, and most of it was on missed tackles where the Wolverines came up and they thought they had him, and he was able to spin out or slide off and get to the outside. Big set of downs coming up as the Beth-Center Bulldogs are driving with it.
Full house, Klisch. Hands off to Kleiner. He fumbles, and I believe the Wolverines might have recovered. Kleiner and also one of the Wolverines was able to get a hand on that, and I do believe they're going to give it to the Bulldogs. Yes, they will. Second down, lost the 1, that makes it 11. Getting a hand on it was Cortez.
Cortez was in there, but the back who was in there, was that Geyer who carried the ball?
Guire, right.
Yeah, Guire. He dropped the ball, and he lost his footing, couldn't turn around to get back at it. But Cortez was going after him, and I think we're going to have the third quarter run out before they get a chance to get that next play off. They might get one more play off.
Klisch brings him up to the line of scrimmage. 10 seconds and under now remaining in the third quarter. Klisch will get the play off before the third quarter ends. Sanders, flag is thrown, and we'll see what the flag is before we take our break and start the fourth quarter of action. I do believe it's motion. Offsides against the Bulldogs. Okay, so that'll back him up. 3 seconds on the stop clock, by the way, left in the third quarter of play. So a big break again for Ellwood City. That'll make it third down. And about 17 to go for the first.
You know, I hate to say this, but we're going to see the third quarter run out before we can make a comment, but we'll come back with fourth quarter action.
That is the end of the third quarter of play. Beth-Center leading it over the Wolverines by the score of 12-7. We'll be back with the fourth and final quarter of action right after this timeout. 12 minutes of football left to play, and one of these two teams, unfortunately, will not be able to go on to the playoffs. And for the finals at Three Rivers Stadium, both very good quality ball clubs. Of course, we want to see the Wolverines go to the playoffs, naturally, but...
Well, it's second down and 17, and the Wolverines have forced Beth-Center into the position that we would like them to be in, and that is a passing circumstance, but they're a little bit mixed up, and they're going to have to call timeout.
Just about ready to start the fourth quarter of action, and Beth-Center, under some confusion, chooses to call a timeout. It's Beth-Center 12, Ellwood City 7. Now this timeout. Big play coming up defensively for the Wolverines. I see down in 17, and
Bill Chapman, the leading cheerleader down there on the bench right now, getting these fans all fired up, and the players on the field holding their hands up, ready to go. If they could hold or get a big turnover here, that could be a big momentum booster for the Wolverines going into the fourth quarter. Let's see what happens, though.
Full house backfield. Klisch, the 6'2 quarterback, senior, sets him down. Again, they have motion. This will back him up another 5. And this should be probably, unless the Wolverines cross the neutral zone, but I don't believe that's the case. That's right. That's what it's against. Offsides again, called against one of the interior linemen for the Bulldogs.
I don't think that the Wolverine fans realize that they can be denied. I think that they get so fired up that they don't feel as though they can lose a ball game. If something would happen drastic, I think you would just see an awestruck crowd here. I don't think they would be able to stand that. It's second down and 22 now, and a deep passing circumstance now. Look for some kind of a possible screen pass because they set that up before. Although they haven't gone to it, they set it up before.
Okay. center Joe Patterson, 5'10", 185-pound senior over the ball. Clish the quarterback. Play action pass. Look, he's tackled and he's sacked. He tried to break out of that. He was rushed by Timmerman. Also coming in to help make the stop was Peretta. And as he tried to avoid Peretta, he ran into Timmerman here on the near side of the field. So credit the Wolverine defensive front for making that stop, and another loss. That'll be a loss of 10. That'll bring up a third down and 32 situation. Bulldogs now back in their own territory on their 49.
And now, I don't know what you do.
You have to hold here.
I think
cannot give the big play away here.
And I think that if I were the Bulldogs right now, I might not even put the ball up in the air because they need 32 yards for a first down. That's a half a country mile.
Might not, but Clish likes to air it out. Now they run out of the I formation, the first we've seen all evening. They have twins to the far side. They will run it. Sanders is stopped. Gibbons shot in. He was not fooled. Roth also in the area. A loss of another one. That'll bring up fourth down and 33. Conti carried the ball on the play, not Sanders. Check that. And with 10:57 remaining in the ball game, Wolverines are going to get the ball back. They're down 12-7.
Now, let's hope that momentum can get going here. We have 10 minutes and 48 seconds left in the ball game, and the Wolverines trail it 12-7.
They put 10 up on the line again. Try to come through and block it. Portugallo hits the punter. Oh, my.
The one thing you didn't want to have happen.
Ketterer takes it on the 20, picks up 5 yards on the carry, getting it out to the Wolverine 25, but Portugallo trying to hold up in midair and try not to rough the kicker, was not able to do so, and he didn't get a hand on him on the football, so roughing the punter is called.
Jeff, here comes my question, because in the rules as far as high school and college and pros and so on, does that bring an automatic first down with it? Because even with a 15-yard penalty, it would still be fourth down and 15. If it brings an automatic first down, that could really be a backbreaker. Then again, it might just be a 15-yard penalty, and I'm going to plead my ignorance right now. They're marking it off right now on the field, and the referees.
Yep, that's an automatic first down. That moves it to the 38, the rather 39 of Ellwood City. Now
that's a killer then.
Defense has to dig down deep and hold again.
That's a shame. They had them fourth down and 32. You get the punt, you get the ball back again, and all of a sudden something like that. It's a real backbreaker for your defense, who really had the momentum going their way.
Well, you have to dig in, and you have to hold. A lot of confusion in that defensive backfield so far, or rather offensive backfield. Check that.
Offense for the
Bulldogs. They seem to be having trouble. Counter. It goes off to Sanders, and he bowls his way across the Wolverine 35 down to about the 34-yard line. That'll give him a pickup of 5, making it 2nd and 5. It's Scott Timmerman. He gets up off the bottom of the pile. Also Gibbons in there and makes a stop.
By Timmerman.
I'm really surprised because their backfield, even though they're experienced, we noticed all 3-year lettermen back there for the Bulldogs from Beth-Center. They don't seem to have it all together. They do seem to be making some very bad mistakes for a very experienced ball club.
2nd and 5. Clish sets him down. Conti motion to the near side. Almost doesn't get that ball handed off to Sanders. Sanders still on his feet, and he's buried. Host of Wolverines making the stop. Roth in there. Timmerman.
Side of the Wolverine line.
Jones. Pick up a 1. That'll bring up 3rd down and 4.
Now here comes a coaching problem. Do you put the ball in the air? We got 9 minutes and about a 9.5 left in the ball game. If you put the ball in the air, you risk an interception. You also risk the Wolverines stopping of the clock. That's one thing you don't want to do if you're the Beth-Center ball club. So I wouldn't be surprised to see them just keep it on the ground here for 3rd down.
Fish looks over the defense, sets him down in the split back formation, slot to the far side. Conti bowling ahead, close to the first down, but I believe he will be shy by about half a yard, as he had to get down to about the Wolverine 28-yard line for the first. He gets to about the 29, but it all depends on the spot. They're right near the stick, so it'll be close for a measurement.
It's short. It looks like it might be short because the guy over there holding this change already put up a 4th down. One of the players from Beth-Center just crawled off the field injured, too. He went down, it looks like maybe with a cramp, and I think it might have been Guire. But Conti has been the big running back here in the second half for Beth-Center. He's carried the load.
4th down and inches.
4th down and it will be inches for the first.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's remember one ball game. How about the Beaver ball game where the score was very close then?
From the goal line.
And they decided to go for it on 4th down, and the Wolverines held, took the ball back, and drove it down for the winning touchdown. Maybe history can repeat itself. Remember, Ambridge is a place where the Wolverines won a very close basketball game in a playoff 2 years ago against Brentwood High School. The officials are taking a timeout right now.
Official timeout.
8:50 remaining in the 4th quarter and the ball game. Ellwood down 12-7 to the Beth-Center Bulldogs. Bulldogs have the ball and the clock on their side at this point in time. They're faced with 4th and inches and are going to go for it. Naturally, 4-down territory. They have it resting on the Wolverine 29.
And it'll probably be Conti, the big kid, diving over the top, because he is big enough to just lean his body over the line and possibly get a first down. Although the slants off tackle have been more successful for him.
Klisch brings him up to the line of scrimmage. They're in the full house backfield, and the backs are close. Quarterback sneak, and he will get it. Klisch just kept it. And a 6'2", 170-pound senior just bowls off the right side of his center to pick up the first down. That'll be a 1st and 10 from the Wolverine 27-yard line.
Well, we've got to hold them, and and the Wolverines have to get the ball back and score. We know that.
Ellwood City
but,
calls a timeout.
and the Ellwood City Wolverines are going to call timeout because it's 1st down with 8:36 left in the ball game, and the score, Beth-Center 12, Ellwood City 7. We'll come back right after this timeout.
One early in the game, and that was the only turnover they were able to muster up, that being that interception by Nick Perry. He played a big part in last week's ball game with an interception in the 4th quarter.
Well, Petrelli has come in to replace Kevin Jones, and Kevin's still limping noticeably as he comes off the field. And I think that's been a major problem here for the Wolverines, is that they've lost the great running attack of Kevin Jones, and he's just been a force all the second half of the season. Okay, here we go into the final 8 minutes and a half of the ball game.
1st and 10 from the Wolverine 26-yard line. Pitch to the far side, Sanders. Busted inside the Wolverine 25 to about their 21. So pick up a 4 on the carry.
He's hit by Ritzer.
Give him more than 4, give him 6 on that carry, and Ritzer made the stop. 2nd down and 4 from the Wolverine 21-yard line.
A couple of very key penalties have hurt the Wolverines here in the second half. You'll remember the first one a little while ago when the Wolverines were driving the ball. An illegal procedure penalty when they had passed it down to about the 20-yard line was called back. And then the roughing the kicker.
Straight ahead, Conti breaks tackle, still on his feet. Ketterer a hold of him. Conti still going and gets it inside the 5 to about the 4-yard line of Ellwood City. So the Wolverines defense is having some trouble containing the running game of Beth-Center Bulldogs. That'll be enough for a first down and to make it 1st and goal from the Wolverines' 4-yard line.
5-yard
And for the first time this year, they look a little bit worn down. Some of the guys up front kind of were beaten on that play, and Conti was able to drag Ketterer for about 4 or 5 extra yards. And the Wolverines have got to really hang tough, because if they should let up a score here, it's going to take a lot of guts to pull this one out.
They did it last week. They forced a fumble in this type of situation. Let's see if they can do it now. Straight ahead, Conti for the touchdown. He gets in from the 4 off left tackle, and the Wolverines defense does not hold. Beth-Center goes on top 18-7 over the Ellwood City Wolverines, and time is quickly running out on Ellwood. 7:51 remaining in the ball game.
Okay, I was just going to say, and it all goes back to that penalty on the roughing the kicker when the Wolverines had a 4th down and 32, forced a punt, and they ended up giving the ball right back again on a 1st down. They had the ball in their own possession there, and it's too bad it worked out that way, but now it goes down and ends up being 6 points the other way. So now the score 18-7 in favor of Beth-Center with 7:51 left in the ball game. Thus far, the Bulldogs have not converted on an extra point yet in the ball game. The crowd from Ellwood City, a lot of them have kind of died down, Jeff.
Coons, the kick, push the hold. High snap, kick is up, and this one will be good. So that makes the score 19-7 in favor of the Bulldogs over top of the Ellwood City Wolverines. 7:51 remaining in the ball game. Now this 30-second timeout. Well, it doesn't take a football genius to figure out you have to pass at this point in the ball game. 7:51 remaining, you're down 19-7.
You know, another piece of irony too, Jeff, is the fact that the Wolverines scored that one touchdown that they have on the very first drive of the ball game. It was a beautifully executed drive, and they took it down and scored, and have not been able to do that again.
Coons takes a long run, and he boots it deep. sending DeLuca all the way back to the end zone, and he'll down it.
Wow, that was quite a kick. That was high and long, well into the end zone.
So Wolverines wisely down it in the end zone, and that will give them first down and 10 from their 20. It's 7:51 remaining in the ball game, and it's not over yet. The Wolverines have a lot of work cut out, but don't count them out until that final second is ticked off the clock.
And we know they have a few tricks up their sleeves, too. If they have to do it, they can go to those extra plays and try to get things going. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Joe Roth in there. He's a senior. He can do it. He can, if anybody can do it, his help is surely going to be needed.
Kevin Jones is in there.
Well, it looks like no, Beth-Center is going to have to take a timeout. They only had 10 men on the field. So that'll be their second timeout here, Jeff, in the second half.
That'll be assessed to Beth-Center. 7:51 remaining in the ball game. It's Beth-Center 19, Ellwood City 7. Now this 32nd timeout. The Three Rivers Stadium for a matchup of that Burrell-South Allegheny ball game. And Burrell, last we have heard, was winning 14-0 at the half over South Allegheny.
South Allegheny, of course, being the underdog coming into this tournament.
Situation not that good for Wolverines at this point in time, though. They are losing 19-7. They do have the football, though, on their own 20-yard line. First down and 10, 7:51 remaining. Jones limping in motion to the near side. Straight ahead to Chapman, still bowling his way ahead. Billy gets a first down, about 12 yards on the carries. He gets it across the 30 to the 32-yard line. As Gary Dunphy made the stop defensively for the Bulldogs. That'll move the sticks, and Wolverines have a first down and 10 from their 34-yard line.
Well, that moves Bill Chapman very close to 100 yards on the evening, but he would trade in every one of those yards for a reversal on that score on a scoreboard right now.
Again, Chapman single setback. Ketterer, quick drop, throws, almost picked off by Coons. Thrown high. Portugallo intended receiver, and Ketterer was nowhere near him.
He's coming over. Ketterer isn't talking to DeLuca as though maybe he ran some kind of a wrong pattern out there.
You mean Portugallo?
No, he was talking to DeLuca. Portugallo was the one that looked like the pass was intended to, but I don't know what DeLuca did.
Right. Timmerman checks out. Petrelli's wide to the near side. Portugallo wide to the far side. DeLuca in the slot to the near side. Jones and Chapman are split backs. Motion DeLuca. Straight ahead. The Chapman, he gets it to the 35, so a pickup of about 2 in the play. Third down and 8 now for Ellwood City as Magda makes the stop.
Now, of course, what Coach Rankin's theory is here is that he's going to bust something loose because everybody's going to be looking for a pass, and something's going to open up inside. But on that play, it didn't work that time. Time is the problem. That's what you risk. And the Wolverines now face a third and long.
Third and a long, 8 to go. DeLuca again in motion to the far side towards wideout Portugallo. Ketterer, straight drop back, in trouble. Ketterer out of it, steps up in the pocket, throws almost a one-handed catch by Portugallo at the Wolverine 45. Would have been good for the first down, but Coons and Sanders stick him in the back and knock it loose, and it falls incomplete. And Wolverines have a fourth down situation and a punting situation also, and you don't want to do this. 6:48 remaining, but you do have to punt it away when you're in your own territory, well, even at this mark.
Yeah, the game could be completely out of reach if they didn't punt the ball right now, because Beth-Center could take it in nearly for an easy score from this part of the field. Ellwood's going to have to take a timeout, though. I don't know what happened there. It looked like they only had 10 men on the field.
6:48 remaining in the ball game. Beth-Center 19, Ellwood 7. Now this message. Are still pushing on towards that crowd. And like they say, it's not over till it's over.
Yeah, but the crowd looks a little bit more elusive each minute second that ticks off that clock, because the Wolverines are faced with an uphill battle, having to give the ball up now on fourth down. That means at least probably another 2 minutes to be run off. Even should they hold Beth-Center, it would take almost 2 minutes to run 3 plays and kick the ball, so they're going to lose at least 2 minutes on the clock.
Wolverines are not punting, they're going for it.
Okay, here we go.
Ketterer, the quarterback. They had their punt team back. Ellwood might be able to get something off. Ketterer has the time, looks, throws. Timmerman misses it. He drops it. He had enough for the first down at the 45. He is not able to hold on. Thought we might see some type of flag on that, because I thought Ketterer was kind of, or not Ketterer, but
Timmerman was hit.
Thought Hurwitz might have hit Timmerman a little too early on the play, but we see no flag. Wolverines give it up on downs.
Coach Rankin's really upset. He's out on the field right now because they were all over the back of Scotty Timmerman, and he was hit very hard, and he still nearly made the catch. He fumbled the ball a little bit up in the air as he went after it. That's too bad because the pass was drilled in there nicely by Ketterer.
So the clock is definitely in the hands of the Bulldogs from Beth-Center. Klisch straight ahead to Conti.
Up the middle.
And he gets to about the Wolverine 33-yard line. Peretta made the stop defensively for Ellwood City. 6.5 minutes and running remaining in the ball game. Ellwood down 19-7. They need the ball back desperately.
And as I said,
start playing the ball now.
Just a moment ago, yeah, they're going to be ball hawking now, but should they Beth-Center hold on to the ball, they can run at least 2 minutes off the clock. And Wolverines, remember, need 2 scores, not just 1.
Klisch off to Sanders. He's still on his feet as he weaves his way inside the Wolverine 25 to the 20-yard line. And I don't know how, but he was able to stay low and elusive and find some running room on the inside. Eventually brought down by Kevin Jones.
Well, that play could have very well.
Right, that one for the first down.
That could have very well iced the ball game because that gives the Beth-Center Bulldogs another set of downs, and they can virtually fall on the ball and let the Wolverines take it over, and it would be tough to get 2 scores on the board in that amount of time. So it's been the running of Conti and Sanders alone here in the second half, and they've done it without 2 of their big stalwarts.
Split backs, 2 slot men to the near side. Conti runs to that power side, and he gets it inside the Wolverine 15 to the 14-yard line. They give him a pickup of 1, 2nd down and 9. Jones coming up defensively to make the stop, and he is having a tough time with that right ankle, but now he will come out of the ball game.
16 carries between those 2 backs here in the second half, between Conti and Sanders. They've done it all, and pretty much what the Wolverines had expected, even though Greena has not played at all for Beth-Center, and their quarterback, Bruce Miller, has only played with 1 set of downs. They've done it with their second group and the hard running of those 2 backs.
Just over 5 minutes remaining in the ball game. Sanders inside the Wolverine 15 to about the 14-yard line. Give him a pickup of 4, brings up a 3rd down.
Making the tackle.
And we'll call it about 3 to go for the first. So Ritzer and Peretta combining to make the stop for the Ellwood City Wolverines. And, you know, Beth-Center is doing what they want to do, Phil, and that's running out the clock.
Yes, we're down to 4:38, and the officials are taking a timeout temporarily. Now they're starting the clock again. But their field goal kicker, should they need him, is also a boomer. He boomed that extra point way high and long, and we saw his kickoff, too, was very high and long into the end zone. So they're even in field goal range as of right now.
That, of course, is Coons. Quick opener as Conti gets inside the Wolverine 14 to about the 10-yard line.
And it's very close. They might have to measure for a first down. And if there's a first down in there, that would be drastic at this juncture in a ball game. There's no doubt about it.
4th down and about 1 to go for the first.
14-0.
And they're going to bring the sticks all the way across the field to make the measurement here on the near side, close to the near hash mark. 4:14 remaining in the ball game, and about 4:14 remaining in the season of one of these ball clubs, and it looks as though that could be the Wolverines coming out with the short end of the stick tonight.
Well, they're very short, but they're probably in better position to just run another play, a quarterback sneak now, the way they did before, and get to go for that first down. That would run more time off the clock, so I'm sure they'll probably do that rather than try for the field goal. The time is more important right now than the points on the board for Beth-Center. And the Wolverines, they've got to get that ball. They've got to go after the ball.
4th and 1. Straight ahead, quarterback sneak, and that should be enough. It was 4th and inches, actually. Had to get down to about the 11-yard line for the first, and Klisch gets it to the 10-yard line, so they get the first, and they hold on to it again.
Beth-Center.
Now we're down at the 4-minute mark, and with another set of downs, you figure another 2 minutes could be run off the clock. So it's just a matter of time, and I'm sure that Beth-Center is going to just take every second that they have to get up to that line of scrimmage, and they just might run it straight ahead.
Klisch sets him down, backs again in the full house formation. Counter goes off to Sanders. He tries to elude the tackler. Portugallo, though, does not go for the inside fake and pulls Sanders down at about the 9-yard line, forcing him out of bounds.
That was the best thing, the fact that Sanders got out of bounds. He faked inside and tried to get to the outside, and Portugal let him go outside and let him go right out of bounds, and that was the best thing that could have happened for Ellwood City because it stops the clock.
That makes it 2nd and goal now from the Wolverine 9.
I'm sure that they probably won't run that play again. If I'm the coaching staff from Beth-Center, they'll probably keep it to Conti up the middle. And the Wolverines are going to have to go after the ball if he should run it.
Going to have to go after the ball no matter who runs.
Right.
At this point in time. 3:35 remaining in the ball game. Ellwood down 19-7 to Beth-Center. Beth-Center has the football in the Ellwood 8. And brought down at the 8 is Sanders. Coming up to make the hit. Petrelli was in the area. Also Joe Ross. So that'll bring up a 3rd down and goal from the Wolverine 8.
And that clock is the important thing right now. We're at 3:15 and counting and going down. Remember, the Ellwood Wolverines need 2 scores. They don't need 1 score. They need 2. It's 3rd down and 8 at the 8-yard line.
Under 3 minutes remaining in the ball game. Full house backfield. Klisch. Pitch to the far side. Sanders tiptoes his way inside the Wolverine 8, gets it down to the 6-yard line. Timmerman makes the stop. Cortez also in there on the stop defensively.
Well, it should be an interesting choice now for their coach because they're still about the 8-yard line, 7 or 8-yard line. Maybe give them the 6, but it's about 7-yard line. It's a long haul for a touchdown, so they'll probably try to go for the field goal. If they don't go for the field goal, their idea is they want to run out the clock, and that's what it looks like they're going to do, is to try to run more off the clock. We're at 2:15 now.
Clock continuing to run, as Phil mentioned, out of the I formation. Klisch, he wants to pass. Klisch looks, throws into the end zone, incomplete. You believe that?
Incomplete.
2:06 remaining in the game. Klisch wants to pass. They're on top 19-7. Okay.
Well, Jeff, from their point of view, the idea is that they're going to ice the ball game. The Wolverines still could come back and score twice and win the ball game, but if you had 3 scores, it would be out of reach. So I guess they wanted to try to catch them off guard and get the ball in the end zone. 6 yards would have been tough to get on the ground anyway.
Yeah. 19-7. And Wolverines have a lot of work cut out for them. They have 2 minutes, 6 seconds to work with in this ball game. They're down 19-7. Need 2 touchdowns.
Not only that, they need 92 yards to get that one of them.
Right.
That's a long way off. Here comes Kevin Jones off field.
Wide out, split to the near side. Here comes the option. Ketterer keeping it. Ketterer finding some room out to the 20-yard line, and they'll give him the running. What they're going to watch for is the deep passing. Ketterer picks up 12 yards and a Wolverine 1st down as they place it on the 21 of Ellwood City. That'll move the sticks. The clock right now is stopped at 1:57. As soon as the sticks get placed, though, it moves again. And there it goes.
But without Kevin Jones in that lineup, and he's on the sideline hurting pretty badly with that ankle, they don't have a real speed man who can get it into the secondary and beat people. The other guys in that backfield are good power runners, but once they get into the secondary, many of them can get caught.
Chapman is the single setback. DeLuca out of the slot. Ketterer looks to pass, bench, and go, and it's almost intercepted by Beth-Center. Pass was not near Portugallo. Portugallo had the inside lane and was open. Coverman was Rick Holmes, the defensive halfback for Beth-Center. Now, had that pass by Ketterer possibly been thrown towards the inside of the field, Phil, he might have been able to run under it and do something with it. That stops the clock at 1:31, though. That is a good thing. And 2nd down and 10.
Still 19-7, though, in favor of Beth-Center, and they're getting ready to celebrate over there because the Wolverines are going to have a tough road to get 2 scores in a minute and a half. This is really, if this game would be pulled out, it would be a miracle. It would be beyond a miracle.
Here comes the option pass back to Ketterer. He looks to throw it downfield again. Double coverage, almost picked off. Intended receiver was Timmerman, and what they did was Ketterer took the snap, pitched it back to Joe Roth. Roth then tossed it over to Ketterer behind the line of scrimmage, so it was not 2 forward passes. Ketterer then threw it downfield, and it falls incomplete at the 45-yard line. Good defensive coverage made by the Beth-Center Bulldogs. Holmes there on the coverage, and also for the Bulldogs, cover-wise was Mike Ritz.
Well, they're so deep right now Those guys are so deep. Even the fake plays by the Wolverines aren't going to work because they're not going to come up and fall for them.
1:23 remaining in the ball game. Wolverines have a third down.
They need a first down here to keep it going.
Perry in motion to the near side. Pass is thrown incomplete, and again almost picked off for the third time.
For Portugal.
Intended receiver was open. Portugal at about the 35. That would have given the Wolverines another first down. Also, Nick Perry was open as he did a bench here to the far side of rather to the near side of the field on the 40 of the Wolverines.
Yeah, poor Paul Portugal made a nice move over the middle and curled in and was open for a first down, but the pass was overthrown. Now, 4th down and 10, and it all comes down to this. The long season that started way back in August, Jeff, and for many of these guys lifting weights before then, it comes down to this play, 4th down and 10 with 1:17 left in the ball game.
Split backs. Here comes a flea flicker. Roth with the football, throws, and it is picked off this time. Moritz has it at the 30, still on his feet. The 25, the 20, the 15, and brought down at the Wolverine 10-yard line. That'll end the Wolverine season. At 1:03, you could almost safely say at this point in time. Hate to say it, but they were beaten tonight. Not over yet. We still have 1:03, don't get me wrong, but as it looks right now, the Wolverines are not going to be able to come back and win this ball game.
No, and so realistically speaking, you're right, because the Wolverines just are not going to be able to come back with 1 minute and the clock running. They don't have the timeouts to stop it, and all Beth-Center has to do is to take the snap and fall on the ball. And the fans in front of us realize it too. They're starting to head for the exits, and I'm sure many of them will be down by the locker room congratulating the Wolverines. And we'll talk a little bit about that after the ball game, because we're inside a minute now, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Beth-Center even take a delay of game penalty just to run that clock even out further.
Backs are split, and they will take the delay of game penalty. Clock is stopped with 34 seconds remaining. Beth-Center's going to win this one 19-7 over Ellwood City, and they are going to move on to the finals at Three River Stadium to be played next Saturday afternoon. Now, don't forget, the Wolverines have lost tonight, but they are not losers by any means, compiling the best record that Lincoln High School has ever seen.
The history of the school. I know that it's very, very cold out tonight, but I think it would warm a lot of these guys' hearts if you would all turn out back there at the Franklin Plaza and show them a warm welcome back into town, because you have a team here, as the last players run out there on the field right now, they down the ball. Remember, you have a team here that's historical. This team has set the record for the most wins ever in the history of Lincoln High School. They've won a championship, and they've gotten to the semifinals, and that's quite a feat. And they're not big kids either.
No. We were big at heart.
We were commenting on the way down to this ball game that this team does not have a great number of stars. That's it, as the clock runs down right now.
Beth-Center wins the ball game 19-7 over the Ellwood City Wolverines. It was a hard-fought game. Wolverines just had a couple of bad breaks, and we're going to talk about that in just a few minutes. We're going to take a break now. Final score 19-7, Beth-Center Bulldogs. Over top of the Ellwood City Wolverines, Beth-Center will move on to Three River Stadium to play the winner of the Borough South Allegheny ball game, which looked at halftime to be a little looking as though Borough was well on their way to winning it. Let's take this break now and then be back to recap tonight's action. Once again, the final score 19-7, Beth-Center over top of the Ellwood City Wolverines. Now this message.
The Ewing Park Pharmacy is the drugstore that believes that they have to try harder. That's why they've instituted many new services. One of the more popular ones is KISS.